Alright, coming back in here, we are getting very, very close to the end of this game. Like I said, they only go up to 1 hour, so at that point, when we reach spawn 81, if no one has destroyed the enemy's nexus by then, what happens is we just go into a sudden death, where both teams spawn their armies, and they fight in the middle to the death, and whoever wins goes and destroys the other enemy fortress. So let's see, I just boomed. You can see every enemy unit getting destroyed. Huge all across the battlefield. 256 units destroyed. A boom is an ability in this game, which you get one of per player. And what it does is destroy every enemy unit from the middle of the map all the way through your side. So it doesn't attack the enemy side, but it clears everyone who's attacking you, who's already made it to the middle, or who's on your side. You get it once per game, and there's some advanced strategy in when to boom and when not to boom, but if you're new at the game, the trick is basically listen to your teammates, and hopefully they don't suck. The enemy team is now boom back. He's done this probably because we're very close to the end of the game. We have 3 booms each team per game, because it was the 3 versus 3 to begin with. So we each have 2 booms left. We're not in any danger of needing them to defend our fortresses, so we can kind of boom freely here. That's what happens. We'll just fast forward through this part of it real quick. You can see this is me asking my teammate to get some Brutalists. They are a pretty solid unit from the Zerg side. Here is one right here. Let me slow it down and we'll get in there and see what we got going on. This is right over here, the Brutalisk. You see it just spit a huge line of green acid stuff that's just destroying the enemy air. This is what that's called. It's called a ferocious spew. Does 56 damage, has 12 range on 2 speed. This is its anti-air attack, and hang on, I pause it. It's taking damage. I don't want it to die while I'm talking. Its ground attack, which you can see is disabled, and will be disabled anytime there is enemy air in range. Its ground attack does 65 damage, has 2 attacks, which means it hits twice, has 1.5 range and 2 weapon speed. Now, this is the most damage any unit does in the game, to my knowledge, at least in Desert Strike. And the crux is he never uses it, pretty much ever at all. Brutalists stay in the back, they attack air, and then by the time the air is done, if they try to run in melee, they usually get blown up by units like siege tanks. Because the range on this is only 1.5, which is basically melee range. And the range on the siege tank is 7 to begin with. When they are in siege mode, I believe it's... Here we go. No, where is it? No, hang on. Let me hit play and see if we can get a... Right now they're just in regular mode, so they have regular range. Here we go. Here's one. Now it's got the Crucio Shock Cannon, which has 13 range. So they're going to get to hit, or start hitting that Brutalisk at 13 range, somewhere over here, basically. And the Brutalisk is going to keep trying to run over in order to get into the tank, or in order to get in range to start attacking the tank. So Brutalists pretty much don't ever use their melee ability, but they're great at anti-air. Now, let's get to the end of this. Let us move forward. You can see my storms. These are lightning storms that come from the High Templar, trying to wreck the enemy air. They hit everything inside of that lightning range. So, let's see if we have any more. I think I'm out of mana on those guys. It's one of the reasons I don't use High Templar very much. They only get to attack twice, and then they have to recharge their mana, which takes like a round or a round and a half to recharge. So, and by a round I mean a spawn. So a pretty long time in this game. Now, we can fast forward here. It's almost over. Wave 79. At this point, there's no chance any of us are going to clear the enemy before or clear the enemy spawn before sudden death, so we know this game is ending in a sudden death. In fact, the game has just told us spawning will now cease to the final battle. But this is something that's really cool that happened in this game. So right now the enemy has boomed, and I'd boomed just before it. You can see on the left, my army is coming. It has not been touched by anyone. On the right, there are 3 tanks left up, and there's the brand new enemy army. So what that basically means, if you've watched this before, if you know anything about Desert Strike, is that I am going to get a 1v1. And that is one of the coolest things that happens in this game. We get to see whose army does better in this very, very straightforward battle. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and slow it down so we can watch this. I'm being attacked by like some kind of flying insect right now, which is really poor timing. You'd think it'd be more respectful than that. But, oh wait, where was it? I wanted to show you a storm when it happens, but I think I may have missed them already. So my immortal wall is up here just taking these massive hits from the tanks, but just, for lack of a better word, tanking them. And right here, it looks like this is the point where I have a bunch of Tempests left, but he has more Vikings. He's probably going to be able to end my wave. I think I would have lost this 1v1, unfortunately. But it doesn't really matter because there's 5 seconds left till sudden death, and then we're going to see what happens. You can see both defense grids get destroyed, which is the cannons in front of the bases. It's just saying you don't get to use cannons for sudden death. So here we go, real quick. You can see on the left the spawning. It shows Blue, who's my teammate, Talisman. He spawned once against Maz Jr. Then I spawned once against Maz Jr., and then he spawned again against Maz Jr. So that means there are 2 of his army, 2 of my teammates' army, 1 of my army, and then 3 of the enemy army. And, okay, this is the sudden death we've been waiting for. Out here in front, we have some Zerglings running all by themselves. They're definitely going to get creamed. And behind that, we have this huge Terran army. Holy crap, that is a lot of units. Like, just look around here. You got Vikings and Banshees all throughout. You can't even really see what's going on anymore. There's tons of units everywhere. This is just a huge mass of enemy units. And then on the left-hand side, holy cow, we have even more Zerg units. I mean, there's just tons and tons of them. And every now and again, you can see 1 Immortal or 1 Protoss unit in there. So, alright. I think I need to split this video because the computer is bugging out again. Well, it's been bugging out. So, I'm going to split this video, and we're going to do sudden death as the very last video next.